welcome to another episode of Mama's Land. It's just bringing Dak into the, whatever. What's a better way to stay topical than start a podcast in 2021?
Exactly, with two men in their 30s.
When there's some other podcasty stuff like Wasteland Radio or something like that?
There was another Wasteland Radio one there. There's a guy who made a film on there a few years back now.
Yeah?
I don't know what happened with it. I did watch a bit of it. It seemed like quite high production values, all things considered. I
never listened to the Wasteland Radio. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I'm going to call it Wasteland Radio.
Yeah.
And I think it sucked because I never listened to it, so it must suck. This one's much better.
Yeah, definitely. This is the raw shit.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, people would have been clamouring for this.
Yeah. Nowadays, no one is, I guess.
Nah. Nowadays, folk often listen to it. A few of us.
Mismatch, Amis, Sinister Denister.
Yeah.
Who else? That's about it. Hyacinth, of course, but that's like the active people on the forums right now.
Yeah. The best ones.
Yeah, but it's the mystery of Hyacinth. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been keeping tabs on him, but like he used to post on some other alias before getting banned or something. And I like not knowing, but still would kind of like to know who he was. Or she could be Jennifer.
Could be all along. I was never like with Hyacinth. Again, it's like, did they mean what they were typing, or is that the real Hyacinth we're seeing? And I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because I'm smoking a cigarette right now. Did you ever smoke cigarettes?
I tried when I was like 14. I tried for the whole summer, but the taste was still, well, like when you're a kid, you wanna try that just because others are doing it.
Yeah.
And I never really got into it. But do you guys have snus?
Like the tobacco you put on your lip?
Like the pouches that you put under your lip.
Yeah.
I've been into that for like, I don't know, for how many years. I quit for over a year, but then I thought, fuck it. Because actually I think there's something like cool about addiction. When it's something that's not really bad for you, it's not going to kill me probably. But the best thing about the addiction is the anticipation. Do you know what I mean? Like when you actually get the hit, it's not, it's over. Then you're just waiting for the next one, basically.
Yeah. The first drink's always the best.
Yeah, so you gotta enjoy the wait, I think.
Yeah. I've never been like properly, well, I mean, I smoke cigarettes and I've been drinking every day since I've been 17 or so. But I don't think I'm properly addicted to anything. Actually, I was a bit addicted to codeine once because I had some surgery. But I got over it.
I mean, it's the same for me because I've done a whole bunch of stuff, but I can say I'm addicted to nicotine and caffeine. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take like, I got rid of nicotine for a long time and it was super easy. And I could do the same with coffee, but it's small things in life,
Oh yeah. I mean, if I didn't do it, I might be too strong. So it's good to kind of handicap yourself.
I think so. You definitely you would be way too strong.
I do find I have quite a bit of energy generally. So I struggle sleeping. I'm always like I want to be doing stuff all the time. So I quite like substances that just take the edge off a bit, take the edge off life.
Have you tried meditation?
I've tried everything. Meditation was all right. A bit of yoga, it's all right. I've had quite like psychologists and psychotherapists and medication and stuff. But I find just going for a walk is good. That's the best thing for me.
Yeah.
And drinking.
I tend to agree. Sometimes I just need to turn off my brain because it's working overtime and trying to sleep and it won't shut up. Yeah. That's the tough bit. I overthink things in general.
Yeah.
And walking, that's like my favorite sport. That's the only exercise I do these days.
Yeah.
Yoga was really good, and like stuff that I'm not gonna mention on the podcast. But other than that, just something to kind of keep me in the moment instead of think about the past or living in the future too much.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely been thinking about the process of time a lot recently. Sort of, because I'm always thinking about the past or the future, but very rarely present. But I do find when I'm out walking, that's the time when I can, like, sort of empty my mind a bit and just appreciate nature and just, oh, that's an interesting bit of trash on the floor.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I love that. You're just walking around and actually paying attention to your surroundings, because I think we're just, most of the time we're stuck, looking at our phone on our way to the work because we're late already, stuff like that. And we kind of built this lifestyle around ourselves. It's mostly a distraction. And then I think people can't deal with being bored. That's a big problem. If you have to wait for the subway or whatever for 5 minutes, then it's a disaster. That's bad.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm quite good at being bored. But I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of being bored. Like, I'm quite happy to I can sit in a waiting room for quite a long time because I ought to think about. But if I'm at a party or something, or some sort of thing where I have to maybe try a bit more, that's when I start getting bored myself.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I guess we're both more introverted than extroverted in that sense.
Yeah.
Processing stuff through our own minds instead of via other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been kind of conscious of how much taking, really. Like, I'm all for experiencing culture and things.
Yeah. And like with the whole COVID situation, I have a lot of friends who have they're losing their minds because they have to stay inside. I mean, the situation in Finland is really easy. It's probably one of the best places to be right now. But people are working from home, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for me, staying at home, there's endless amount of stuff I can come up with that I can do.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for me, it's almost kind of cliche to say, but like, it's almost ideal for me. I'm like so used to just being at home and being able to do my own thing. And like, I work from home at the minute when I do work, so that's good. But I'm quite used to it. But then I'm in quite a lot of WhatsApp groups, and some more extroverted friends, they're like really struggling just being around the families and things like that. But like, I could do this for quite a long time, I think. Like, in England, everything's shut. You know, stay inside. That's what I do miss, like going to the pubs and stuff like that. But on the other hand, there's a lot to do for me.
Do you feel like the COVID situation has been beneficial to you, like creatively? Because for me, it has been really good. I have had more time to process stuff, breaking the whole treadmill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, usually I always have a project on. I've got something on. But when COVID started around here, like last March-ish, with lockdown, I haven't really done anything for a year. I give myself a bit of a break.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's been nice. But I'm now reaching a point where I feel like I want to get back into it, which is nice. It's like I've been sitting on my arse for like a year, but I definitely have the last few weeks at least.
Yeah, I was the complete opposite. I had a proper burnout. And like I was saying, the situation here is pretty chill.
Yep.
It was because I just overthink things like, will I be able to work and so on. So I kind of drove myself to the point of just, having to make changes in my life. And it was really good for me. It's not optimal. Like I still have a lot of like social anxiety, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the deal. But as a whole, it was really good for me just to think about stuff and the way I want to live my life, basically.
Yeah, oh, definitely. It's like, because it's made me kind of realise if there wasn't COVID, this is kind of the thing I want to be doing. Like, not having to say yes to every fucking, like, social invitation and, like, going to weddings and all this other stuff you do. So it's been fucking great, really. A lot of last year, I've been, at the moment I work freelance, so whatever that means, but I've been teaching a lot of adults IT. So a lot of last year I was going to a city nearby, Manchester, and teaching a lot of face-to-face stuff and doing that kind of thing. But just around Christmas, I cut my hours down to fuck. So I've been having a lot more free time in 21, so that's been good. But yeah. Like, I mean, again, cliche nonsense, but to live through history and it also being just like, oh, okay, it's normal now. I don't really think about it that much. If anything, this is close to what I used to be doing back on when I was on DAC all the time, rather than my like, adult life. So I've been kind of enjoying it, really.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, it's been kind of like a throwback to the carefree days of my youth, because I don't know if you've been forced to work less, but I've been working a lot less by choice, so yeah. I'm working 3 days a week now. I'm barely making ends meet, but, it's fine.
Yeah, same here. Like prior to COVID, I were working on a couple of projects, doing a lot more teaching, and then COVID happened. Do you have a little like audio sound of like a record needle coming off a record? So that'd be good for the COVID stuff. Yeah, maybe I'll have one.
Have this. Let's see what other stuff I have. We did this one.
That's good.
Hang on. The sanitarium. I wonder what these do. For the listeners, I can't hear because I don't want to hear my own voice while I'm doing this, but I can't hear the sounds either, so I'm just gonna try stuff. Oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah, this is topical. Mother.
Oh yeah.
Mother.
Also, some drums.
That's good.
Yeah.
Spit a few bars. 9 bar. Do you remember them?
Can you do the needle thing again?
Yeah, I'll just. It's good, isn't it? That. I remember when I first found soundboards, there was a really good Jagged Alliance 2 one. A fucking great game.
Actually, that's kind of how I came to the Fallout community. It's just a bit of more nostalgia bullshit, but I don't remember if I had like read the forums. So I remember I had read NMA for like how to deal with stuff, quests and things, but I was really looking forward to tactics because of it just sounded like much made in heaven back then. Like Fallout combined with Jagged Alliance,
Yeah, definitely.
And then they fucked it up. That's why we need The Sims.
I was fucking great.
Yeah. Another quality episode of Mama's Land.
Oh yeah, there'll be views in the double digits for this.
But this is like, I think the best bit about Duck and Cover was just doing, I guess these days they call it collaboration.
Yes.
But we were just doing fun stuff together. So this is kind of a throwback to that era.
I was trying to explain to my girlfriend earlier, like, how we know each other, what we did, and...
We played RPG together. Do you remember that? We kind of agreed on the background story.
That was the one. Devon, where have you gone? But Well, my girlfriend's German, so not that matters. But I do feel like I just wanted to drop it in there. But it's kind of hard to explain what Duck and Cover is or was, and also what Fallout is.
How old is she? Just because it kind of matters, actually, in this context.
She's 37.
Okay, so she knows how things work.
Yeah. She's not like, she's not too far either end.
It's not like Snapchat and whatever.
Yeah, TikTok is what they call it nowadays. But it's a shame these have a bit of a delay on, like, because I want it to be like straight away.
I think our listeners will manage. I don't think the delay is the problem.
No.
With this podcast.
No.
Back to your girlfriend.
Sorry. For the ride, shotgun by my side, bulge you my highway, man. I was wondering how Cash Look convinced the rest of the band. Right, we're going to sing this song about a game called Fallout, and you have a car called the Highwayman. You're polishing it.
Yeah, heavy metal is some serious shit, isn't it?
Definitely, especially in Finland, so I hear.
Like warlocks and magic and Satan and stuff like that.
Orcs and goblinoids.
Yeah. Must have had a tough time.
Yeah, it's like part of my wish is that Dak went beautiful. Not so much RPG Codex way, but maybe sort of what they say now again, like diversified. Because I feel like just over 10 years ago now, they were talking like, oh, we could make a post-apocalyptic website, like generally there's a new Mad Max film coming out, da-da-da-da-da. But I feel like that wasn't really in the spirit of the forums. I feel like the spirit of the forums was more like, if your weird uncle was on DeviantArt. And so it's a shame it kind of died out a bit. But
yeah, I mean, I think for me, like I didn't browse past the Wasteland forum after like 1 year after I joined, because it's Fallout. I've played through that game a billion times.
Yeah.
It was kind of just the setting background for the whole thing. It was more about like-minded people and bunch of militant weirdos or whatever, but just a sense of community interested in me more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, by the time it was like 2001, really, I was Fallout to me became a bit of a joke, especially like Fallout Tactics and that Fallout Brotherhood of Steel game on console. Yeah. I never played it. I did watch a playthrough the other day, actually. I say the other day, like about a year ago, and it looks fucking shit. Like we were right back then, and it must have been weird from the kind of devs' point of view, because they made this Fallout Tactics and that Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, and I bet they went inside pitch meetings for Fallout 3 and like talking about we've got this community, we've got like no mutants allowed and duck and cover and stuff like that. Like hundreds of fans across the world. So I do wonder how much we held everything back, really. Probably not at all. But,
It wasn't long ago when I stumbled upon some like stats on how the game sold, and the Fallout 1 and 2 combined were pretty much nothing, and Fallout 3 sold like 1 million copies. So
like for me, what attracted me to the games in the first place, I went to like a PC World shop, a shop where they sell PCs and that, and they had all these games like Unreal and Half-Life and stuff, and that Fallout 2 was on the shelf. I'm like flipping the back, and there's always like a sort of wireframe mesh of a person, and I could see you could aim at body parts, and it was like, that really set off my imagination. Like, oh yeah, you could do this, and you could do that. Like shoot someone in the eyes, the groin, or whatever. Like for me, that was my initial like hook. Like, oh, you could aim at body parts, and what would that look like in the game?
I remember very clearly the first time I like my first encounter with Fallout was my friend was playing Fallout 2. I was at his house, and he was just kind of demonstrating this thing, like, oh, check this out, and he was just using sniper rifle to take out these innocent peasants and like aiming at their head and just blowing their, well, like you shot them in the head and their chest always burst. That kind of sucked, but other than that, you know the aiming system, I think it was kind of the setting played a part, but also like it really did remind me of Jagged Alliance in that sense. So it's what brought me to Fallout.
Yeah, like I loved Jagged Alliance and XCOM. I had XCOM Apocalypse, which apparently is the worst one, but it's my favourite. It's the first one I played. It's maybe a bit of a pattern forming here, but I quite like what they're saying, like a janky game. Not that I feel like Fallout was janky. I'm thinking more like later with it, Fallout Tactics, where you go online and stuff. Like that never really took off. I think there's only about 20 players on the server at the time. I feel it was a bit ahead of its time. The franchise, the multi-million-dollar thing. Because you get toys now, these like big head toys with like little bodies. What they call like fun motion.
Okay.
Some shit like that. Anyway, but like when I'm out in the real world and I see Fallout references, it feels really discordant to me, because I associate Fallout with like Pooper Scooper and Rex Exton. not like like if you go to this vault on this 3D map and then all the guys have the same name and it's funny. Like I don't really care about any of that third shit. I'm just gonna bob off for a bit. BRB, need a piss. I'm back.
What took you so long? Did you wash your hands or something?
Yep.
Oh, idiot.
Classic.
Did you have something to add? I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Fallout in real life. When you see, if you type in like Fallout cosplay, it comes up with like good-looking people dressed as like Vault Dweller costumes and stuff like that. Because I associate more like, Sinister Denister.
Sure. All right. Yeah. Now I know what you mean. It's not about the game.
No. Like if anything, like the forums became more of what I was wanting in the game, really, which worked out well, I think.
Did it?
Well, I think in retrospect, like it helped me a lot, like learning Photoshop, things like animating in Photoshop even. And just generally like kind of working on stuff and thinking, yeah, give that a go. Because like back then, I didn't know what you couldn't do. So anything was possible in some way. So it was kind of fun. But I feel like now I'm a bit more hobbled by like thinking like, oh, that'd be too much effort, or I don't want to commit to that project and things like that.
Sure. I mean, I totally get that. And it's been really hard to kind of rid myself of that line of thought. Like, we were just having fun, and that was the whole thing. And the end result, it was what it was. And I've been trying to get back to that sort of mentality, really.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell my girlfriend about us earlier. But I'll kind of using like current corporate buzzwords like, it's a sort of an international collaboration and all this kind of shit, really. But really, we were just like dicking about. But she was really intrigued at the idea. We've never like talked over video or used Zoom or anything. Like right now, we're just recording it over a browser thing, like chatting a little bit. But for me, I'm more like comfortable with that and familiar with that, so I like it.
To be honest, I was a little bit nervous because we've never actually chatted before like this. So like if it would work out, but I think it's been a huge success so far.
Yeah, let me get my little I don't have it open. But yeah, imagine me doing. Yeah. I was like from about 2 or 3 this afternoon. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this late. Like, all right, yeah. But then I was also like concerned if we would just be like totally regressive. I'm glad we
exactly. That's the problem. I got in touch with one of my friends from IRL like a few years ago, and like we were the best friends for a longest time. He's the one who introduced me to Fallout in the first place, and hadn't seen him in like 15 years or something like that. He used to call me like drunk once a year, and we'd have a small chat, but it was always the same discussion.
Yeah.
So finally, I just like figured let's just meet up, hang out, and it was pretty sad. We had nothing to talk about except for the old days, childhood stuff.
Yeah.
So it sucked.
No, I feel like we're doing a bit of that. I keep thinking back to not in terms of this conversation, but there's a Sopranos episode where some cunt's going about like, oh yeah, remember when, and he has a bit of a go at him about like talking about remembering things. But I think remembering's good. But I do find that with certain friends, I'm very much like all we have to talk about is the old times.
Yeah.
But I feel like these chats is definitely more up to date. Talking about coronavirus, very cutting edge stuff.
Sure, and like I think like a bit of regression is inevitable. We're talking about 2 guys who met on a computer game forum for a game that came out 25 years ago or whatever. So that's just that's how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's got to be a bit of that, like because we never really spoken by audio, so there is. It's like this is new. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of regression, I have the Discord channel open for DAC.
Yeah.
And I sent a message to all the 5 people, including me, of whom 4 are offline, asking for like audience questions. But this was actually before even the whole podcast. Amis was asking, where does Mang come from?
Mang?
Do you remember?
I thought it was from just general kind of Apocalypse Now, semi kind of Vietnamese, like, how you doing, Mang, kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought it had this like Latino vibe.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, sort of like almost inventing our own language, all the amount of stuff over the years and self-referential stuff like 2.8 and things like that. But yeah, I thought of Mang as being of South America, East Asia, that sort of region. Like, it wasn't really discussed, but I think we took on, maybe the amount of soldiers and people in the military on the forums, but we took on a lot of that sort of aesthetic, really, of kind of talking sort of semi-bullshit terms about, world stuff.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it, but I don't know if your answer makes any sense, but I don't even have an answer.
Well, then, if there's no rebuke, then it must be true. But, yeah, I mean, I need to, like, look back and think properly, but I think there's definitely an influence from the more militaristic, authoritarian side. Like, for me, part of, like, kind of taking the piss out of a bit of that, but just taking the piss translate internationally. What would they call it? You've been X'd, like, punked. That kind of thing. But, hi. Maybe like the Viet Cong game. So
there you go, Amis. I think we have time for one more question, because that's the only question. Caslak wants to know, what it's like to be the coolest space cat inventor of all time. I guess opposed to the second coolest one.
Well, about 2012, 2013, there was a guy who did another flying taxidermy cat thing. I remember seeing that. Do you remember that?
Nope.
There was somebody got the mate's cat taxidermied and like stuck some propellers on it on a drone and flew it around this dead cat. So really, I was ahead of the curve. So in terms of being the coolest one around, feels good, man. What do you think about like current internet culture in terms of like this frog thing? What they call it? Pepe?
Pip? Oh yeah.
I don't like it myself.
I mean,
I don't like anything nowadays though.
I don't know. Like everything is about something now instead of something just being, just about having fun.
Yeah.
So everything has agenda, and everyone has an agenda, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. People are like praising, like you said, like the only social media I'm active on these days is Instagram, but people are either like sucking each other's dick on there or just calling them out. So, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah. It just leads to ruin,
Yeah. There's no, and also one part of it is like we discussed on episode 1, like half an hour ago. Yeah. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no sense of community. So sometimes I've been writing out a comment to some guy, and I just realized midway through, like, what's the point? Because this is like a bunch of random people, doesn't matter, and it's not gonna make any difference to anything.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I keep returning to Dak like now and then. Like when I see some argument about free speech or whatever going on, I think I was fucking having these conversations like 20 years ago. So for me, it's sort of like it's been done. Old hat, old.
Yeah, but it's younger people, I suppose. So it's new to them. They're kind of discovering their own identities or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's so much more in your face, and it kind of gives you the sense that that's how the whole world feels. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not done. Very, very odd. Maybe the oddest thing. But I don't fucking know. I mean, good luck to him. Like back in the day, we just put a bit of goatsy up, whatever. That was the conversation done. Does that still work? That goatsy site? Is that how you pronounce it? Goatsy.exe.
What?
Goatsy. The guy stretching his arse
Goatsy.
open.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's in the blockchain now.
Don't say that loud. We're gonna have to censor this thing.
Wait, that thing we were just talking about that we used to post a bit. That's that's the thing now. That's a form of currency.
There's a kind of this hierarchy almost.
Yep.
Goatsy and Top Girl are on top, but then there's like, what's it called, like Lemon Party game a bit later on, and that's not as good anymore, and everything after that is just whatever.
Yeah, I think like when I saw like 2 Girls 1 Cup, by that point I'd seen a lot of stuff, but also I wasn't that interested in looking at it. Like when I first went on the internet, I knew a lot of older boys who showed me stuff like Rotten, Steak and Cheese, and Style Project, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'd seen a lot of like bad stuff. So by the time it came to Lemon Party, I was just like, well, it's like horses for courses. It's a bit different when you get into like video stuff, like them. Was it 2 Guys 1 Hammer, whatever the fuck? I'm not into that so much, but otherwise, like, yeah, I feel like by 2006, very specifically, that'd all been done. So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there is more shocking stuff on the internet now. I get it more through WhatsApp groups and chat groups, like people sharing videos of fucking all sorts of stuff. But do you use WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a modern man, of course.
Good. Well, I was checking it out. I mean, Finland is the home of mobile phones, Nokia.
Yeah, Nokia for life.
Of course.
They fucked it up pretty well, though. They were on top of the game, like what 10, 20 years ago, and now I think now they're aiming mostly at what you call it, like emerging markets, like India and stuff, making cheaper phones. So they just can't compete, so they just drop the ball.
Yeah, it's like Tom from MySpace.
Basically, yeah.
It could have been somebody. I mean, I'm sure he's probably having a right laugh nowadays, but I mean, maybe the same could be said for us. Maybe we dropped the ball. We could have been internet celebrities like Still Grey.
Living the life.
I always like my semi-anonymity, really.
Yeah.
I do wonder about him, though, because for a long time, I could never tell how earnest he was. And I still don't know.
Yellow on the outside, white on the inside, or whatever he was saying.
Yeah.
We were saying a lot of stupid shit as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was kind of implied that it was nonsense, whereas with him, you never knew.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like even if we brought stuff that he put on old forums up nowadays, he'd still stand by that. Whilst I'd be a bit more like, I would a joke that. I was joking. But I feel like he'd be like, no, that's actually definitely what I think. And furthermore, I got a towel nearby.
I'll edit in post.
It's all about post editing.
Yeah, that's. I think it's gonna be really short episode.
Oh yeah, the final edit will be like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
just gold. I can't actually find him on Twitter anymore. Has he been removed?
Still Grey.
Wait, is it Grey with an E or an A?
Grey.
It looks like his profile picture has like an aging thing on, but I think that's maybe just the way it goes.
I'll have a look. Do you remember how Pooper had the fake Ian Miles Cheong Facebook profile?
Oh yeah,
on Facebook. That was good.
I feel like he could have easily made a kind of parallel career just by trolling him to fuck. Like looking through recent stuff.
Dependence on government is slavery.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't use any roads. If I drive a car, I just go off road all the time for a laugh. What a cunt, man.
Sounds like Car Wars.
Yes, maybe that's the future. I mean, I remember playing it a bit and it didn't work. I mean, it worked as in terms you could do something, but
yeah, you couldn't beat it. That's one thing. So back to Ian.
Good old Ian. Yeah. What is he about? Because well, who knows?
Attention.
Yeah, but I feel like even looking at like last time I sort of became aware of him was about 5 years ago. I think maybe actually seeing him referenced working in the games industry. Seeing him referenced, I was like, oh yeah, and that's got what brought me back to DAC. But yeah, strange guy. I'd like to say I like him, but I don't.
I mean, I like the idea of him. I'd prefer if he didn't exist in real life. If he was just a concept.
Yeah, I'd much prefer him as a sort of Borat kind of.
Yeah.
I'm doing a character. I'm doing a bit. There's like a YouTube channel by him, but he's uploaded a interview with Brett Smith 2 years ago for something called Jawbreakers, which is 3 hours.
We're watching the very first live.
Maybe this is the way that our podcast will go.
Maybe not. Pooper told me that he got retweeted by Trump, which is pretty cool.
That is cool, isn't it? He probably thought it was fun. Anyway, what do you reckon to getting other Dackers on this podcast? Should we do like a live interview thing? Or are we the masters? Should we stick to us two?
As long as it's not too... Because the problem is the scheduling, right?
Yes.
took a while to schedule this thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm up for it totally.
Oh yeah, same here. Like, I mean, if you are listening and you've gotten this far, chances are you're dedicated. So I reckon, come on, join the Discord. Join the David's Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out and smash that like button. Subscribe.
Yep.
Stuff like that. If you could, if you had a choice, you didn't need to eat anymore ever again, but you couldn't. Like if you had, I'm having a craving for the crisps or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like just having to eat, like you need to. Which direction would you go?
So I either never eat again, or
yeah,
I only eat
you didn't need to eat, but you also couldn't eat.
Right. Or I couldn't eat anything.
Yeah, so basically your current situation or not eating ever again anything.
Oh, right. Well, I love eating, I've discovered. It used to be more in terms of like eating's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about it. But nowadays, especially recently, I'm always craving takeaways, like doner kebabs, curries, all that shit, all the worst stuff you could have food-wise. That's what I want. So definitely eating, I think.
I'd give it up in a heartbeat. Obviously I like good food, but it's more of a chore. I'd rather not eat ever and not have to think about it and not have to. Because when I'm really into something, I'll do it non-stop.
Oh, yeah.
And then having to stop to eat just sucks.
I can definitely appreciate that. However, I'm just a gannet for like anything bad for me, really. Like drink, drugs, food, people. Like, I love it. Can't get enough. But there's definitely something to be said. Like my mum is more of if I could take a pill that could give me all the nutrients I needed, I'd just eat that. Like, do you like cooking?
I like cooking for other people, but I'm a sad old man living by myself, so I don't enjoy it. And actually, like, because of my current living circumstances, I probably haven't cooked in like 6 months or something, because first of all, like the whole place will smell like, a greasy spoon. But even if I turn on the oven, it'll most likely set off the fire alarm and stuff like that. So I haven't cooked in a while. But I like cooking more for the social reasons than for the sake of it.
Yeah. When I lived alone, it was hard for me to kind of think, why would it take me longer to cook something than it is to eat something, So I definitely, along those lines, when just buying food, like, I wouldn't eat a full chicken kind of thing. That's why I roast one. But I'm trying to be better. Just for like, edit this out or whatever. But at the moment, I live with my girlfriend for the last 2 months. So we're kind of getting by.
2 months?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's good. So far, so good. I was, prior to that, I lived with my other girlfriend for 5 years, but about a year ago in March, she left me. Left me all alone. And then I was living with this other guy. They were a fucking cunt. Really didn't like him. So did that for a while. And he moved.
How did you handle it? Because I broke up with my ex pretty much a year ago, and for me it was alright.
Yeah.
But with the COVID thing, it was one more thing to handle, and it was tough in that sense. I was talking about my having a burnout.
Yeah.
And I just had too much on my plate, and that was one of the ingredients. I'm using cooking analogies since we're talking about that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really like mixed bag for me because my previous girlfriend, we were like good times are good, but the bad times were really not good. So we broke up in March, but we lived together. So we had to do all that for a month while she tried to find a place. So she was doing lockdown, and also I got COVID around the same time. So I was just like, really sick. I'd sleep in an airbed in the spare room. It's fucking shit. But I met my current girlfriend on Hinge, on the online dating platform.
Hinge?
Hinge. It's a bit like a Tinder, but less shit.
I met my previous girlfriend on Tinder. I had this profile that said stuff like, I hate traveling, I hate hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm a single parent to 5 kids, and I'm addicted to heroin. So that kind of, rules out the shittiest candidates.
Yeah. It definitely whittles them down. Back in the day, he's quite set. My height is like 5 foot or 4 foot, and just seeing what kind of people I'd get in return. But, well, my current girlfriend in lockdown times, jolly old time, and now we live together. Just around Christmas times. That's all good. I live in a house.
Like a proper house.
Well, it's a terrace house. So there's houses on both sides. But we both have a room each to do work in, as well as a bedroom to sleep in. So it's quite good, really, in terms of being able to have our own space whilst also being near to each other. But I think it's I don't know. I keep wondering that nowadays. Like, would I struggle if I just lived alone, nobody around? I think I'm quite flexible. I do like I love living with my current partner, but now and then I'm just like, it would be nice though, just to have the house to myself for a bit,
Sure, but you proceeded quite fast then, I guess.
A lot faster than I usually do, definitely.
So I guess it must have felt pretty natural.
Not naturally enough. I think like we both went into moving expecting future lockdowns, which are currently in. I can't leave or anything. So that played a deciding factor. If it wasn't a lockdown pandemic kind of thing, I'd have probably waited quite a bit. But needs must, as I say. So
that's interesting. Because in Finland, the situation, because I guess I want to ask you about what's going on there next, but I'm living in this sort of a bubble and kind of keep forgetting that the rest of the world is struggling. But the restaurants closed down for a bit, and right now, like the museums, public, like libraries and stuff were shut down. Other than that, like I've been able to work normally. And not a whole lot of stuff has changed, really. How about over there?
Oh, it's very like up and downy. Like at the moment, pretty much everywhere is shut unless I can serve food. So all shops are shut, museums, cinema, pubs, especially. So that's a bit tricky. And you aren't meant to leave your home unless you're going to work or you're doing an hour's exercise. What else is there? Well, if you get on a bus, I don't drive, I have a car. So if you get on a bus, there has to be like so many seats available, and if there aren't, you can't get the bus. What else? We've had like over 100,000 deaths over here, and it's on the fall. I think it's on the way back up. But then you look at other countries like United States and. Well, fuck knows. Usually I keep quiet on the news, but for the past couple of months I've just been like, fuck it, can't be bothered. So I've really not been following what's been going on. Usually I keep up to date with American politics, but couldn't tell you fucking anything that's been happening besides like Capitol storming stuff.
It's absurd. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I just don't bother anymore. I kind of prefer just staying in my own bubble these days.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but better for me because I don't know. The world isn't as it used to be.
No. But like, I get a few people saying, "Oh, I just want it to go back to normal," but I don't think it will ever go back. Like, I'm so used to this now. I think so many other people are that we won't really go back to the fully. It's the normal thing to do to be out and about all the time. I think.
Yeah, and I think that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
On one hand, but on the other hand, the limitations from the government side. Governments have a pretty poor track record of dismantling these limitations afterwards. So I don't know what will happen next.
Yeah, like I've never been able to really afford going abroad on holiday. A lot of my holidays, vacations have been in the UK, been in England, so I don't miss that too much. But would be nice. Would be nice. Where's the last place you went abroad?
It was South Korea. It was like 2019 November.
Yeah.
My ex was studying there, so I went to visit her for like a month, and I loved it, and I really missed the place because it's the most cyberpunk place that I've ever been to. I've been there before when I was 17 because my brother was studying there at the time, and I fell in love with the place back then and couldn't wait to get back. And it didn't let me down. One of the other places I really want to visit is Hong Kong, but so far like it's the most Blade Runner place I have visited. And I actually got really into photography back there. Mm-hmm. And it was tough to take pictures of Finland. It's so abandoned here, and just the visual nature of the city really left an impression on me.
Yeah, like 2014-15, I got my TEFL teaching English as a foreign language certificate, so I got to teach abroad. I had interviews in Hong Kong and Seoul, so I was on the track for doing all that, but it all fucking collapsed because my passport ran out. But I was very much into the idea at the time, and I'd like to visit one day, but it won't be this side of summer, I think, for us English idiots. But yeah, I would very much like to go, even though I think it might be a bit hot. I don't do well in the heat.
It depends on the season. Seoul is really hot in the summer, but when I went, it was October. I had packed my winter jacket because it was pretty much the same time that I had visited like 15 years before.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was kind of laughing at me, like, why would you bring your jacket? Because it was plus 25 Celsius or whatever. And the temperature there drops really quickly. So maybe like 2 weeks after that, I really needed the jacket. And, she realized. So it just depends on when you go.
Yeah, definitely. I think like maybe you and I grew up in similar climates, but in the North England, it's very cold and wet all the time. A lot of drinking because of that. It's just a bit.
Yeah, I lived in England and Scotland, so I know the deal.
Oh, whereabouts in England do you live?
Brighton for like a year.
Oh,
and
Brighton.
Then I moved to Glasgow in Scotland for like maybe almost 2 years, I think.
Oh yeah, I'd love to go to Glasgow.
Yeah, I always preferred Glasgow over Edinburgh. It was the same, like Brighton was just too posh for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like the weird pebble beach. It's not really a beach. It's just like full of pebbles. So I like that about it.
My favorite thing about the whole place was the sound that it makes when the waves hit the pebbles. Okay, so it's time to wrap this up, so... That's about it. See you next time.
See you next time.